Finder.ai update, building in public. Today is December 4th, and the update of this week is one where we finally got punched. We realized that the accuracy on the software was not where it needed to be. It was probably in the 75 to 80%, but it was good enough for beta testing. So as we talked about last week, it was time to beta test it. I sent off a link to a friend of mine who's an attorney and whose husband is also a defense attorney, so it's two defense attorneys. And they're looking at it this week. They're going to get back to us. But ultimately, what I realized was that the queries, right? So when attorneys were searching for whatever they're looking to find in our documents, the returns of those queries weren't that accurate. And it was a combination of three things. One, the summary itself wasn't as tight as it needed to be. Two, the citations weren't as grounded, so they weren't directly linking to the information that was requested. And then three, the overall hallucinations, quality of the answer needed to be brought in and tightened up. So we decided to build a version 1.2 UI fix. And what that was here on the screen is that we decided to make life easier for attorneys by having quick queries, right? Things that would be interesting in all the fields that they have, whether it's DUI, DWI, search and seizure, stop and detention. You can see that here it's just pretty straightforward. Oh, you want to know more about use of force? Click on use of force. There will be 4 really good questions that are high yield, meaning that they're juicy questions that if you look at them and you look at the paperwork provided by the police department, maybe there's some discrepancies. Maybe you could start poking holes and building your case on that. And it doesn't require the attorney typing in stuff furiously, right? And trying to rack their brain. It's low bandwidth, high yield stuff. So we installed this into the UI and it took us a day or two. The testing got better, right? So initially it was testing quite low in the 70s in terms of accuracy. We got it up into the 80s. So now we'd probably be close to like a B in terms of grading accuracy. Our goal is to get to an A, which is legal grade accuracy, meaning that an attorney will go, this thing really spits out good information that I can use and build a case on. And it saves them good time, but more than anything, it's accurate shit. So we decided to do that and we implemented it. We're testing that right now internally. In fact, my co-founder's on the other side testing on the other station, and I'm building the UI. So I wanted to walk through what's going on the UI side. We decided to do something called a hero page because in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be introducing this to attorneys. So I'm basically going to be, sending them an email. We've got the list of all the attorneys in South Florida that are defense attorneys. And I'm going to be reaching out. Hey, Brian, it's Mike. I built this tool for a friend of mine who's a defense attorney as well in the Miami area, and I thought that you would benefit by taking a look at this. It makes the pain of dealing with police procedures go away. In fact, even if you don't have the department documents, you could access the answer in a few seconds using our tool. I've included a free trial. Hope it works for you. Let me know if you've got any feedback, right? Something very simple like that. And so they're going to land on this thing called the hero page. And the hero page gives them orientation, right? It's not just, hey, I'm going to drop you into this daily workflow thing where you're just like, what do I do here, right? It makes it very clear. It says, find policy violations in seconds. Instant. Attorneys are like, holy shit, this makes my life easy. And then it explains a little bit more on the second line, right? It says, search police procedure manuals instantly. Identify violations, right? Build stronger motions to suppress and win more cases. That's what they want because they get paid 10 to 50 grand on cases before they even go to court, right? So like their goal is to get the case done quick because their clients are probably in jail or going to jail. So there's a big pain there, not only from them, but the client. And so what we're doing is we're shaving time off by not having to deal with government agencies to get the documents and not dealing with a 1,000-page PDF, manually trying to review it and do all that hard work, right? Now, some of these attorneys have gotten smart and they've started to use AI. That's what we're going for. We're going that elite, open-minded, kind of like cutting-edge, tech-strong firm that's looking to implement these tools to drive more free time, more free bandwidth into their practice. And so we did this hero page because we think it's going to convert greater, right? It's an orientation. I can parachute an attorney in as soon as they click on the link, and they're going to know, holy shit, this makes my life easy. Let me query a few things. and now get hooked on this process, right? I want them to take this in main line and be like, this is the best thing ever. It saves me a week or two, an hour or two a week. Once they get hooked on this product, there's gonna be a recurring revenue, right? And that's what's gonna fuel our runway. So the purpose of this hero page is to get the first timer to start using our product. Once they create the, kind of like orientation that they're like, hey, I know how to use this pretty well, we're gonna prompt them to sign in and create an account. And that's where the sign in button is, right? And once they sign in, boom, it takes them to the daily driver, which is a dashboard and a little bit more personalized where their documents are saved or their, cases are logged in with, Jose Gonzalez, Alex Smith, whatever case they're working on, all of their findings are now organized, right? So it's a lot more for the user who's already established. But this hero page is a big one because we're going to start the Loom campaign here in the next few weeks. And so we have developed a software that's about 80% of what attorneys need, maybe 85%. And the next phase that we're going to do, the next milestone, which we're going to do the first 2 weeks of December, is called Accuracy Model V1.5. What is that? I have extensively queried LLMs and asked them, how can I improve the retrieval, right? How can I improve the query response? And what we're doing now is we're doing a module that focuses on street language and legal language, and it creates a map. What do I mean by that? If you're an attorney and you're watching this, it's the difference between hold and detention and Terry stop. Now, what is Terry stop? It's the legal version of what might a manual have in terms of a police manual for the word detention or holding, right? And so if you search hold and detention, you might miss Terry stop completely. But what if the manual only references Terry stop, right? And so there's a lot of this stuff that's from street language, right? Like our normal use of English to legal lexicon or legal jargon. And so we are creating a database of this and we're mapping hold and detention also equals this, or it could equal that. And that's going to improve the accuracy because right now the issue is that an attorney might come in and say, what are the arrest procedures for a high-risk stop? Well, what if it's arrest protocol in the police department manual for that department, right? It might miss it completely or it might give a pretty good answer, but not the whole answer. So we've got to basically take all these words that are sitting in here in the street language world and map them directly to possible other definitions that are used or terminology that's used in these police handbooks. And that's what we're going to do with Accuracy Model V1.5. I think that it'll get us into the 90s, which is pretty close to what we're going to call production grade, meaning I can release it into the wild and attorneys are going to say, yeah, 9 out of 10 times this thing's great. Like I'm willing to play with this as it gets better, but at least I know that I'm not going to waste my time searching and then it's just going to return all these kind of weird hallucinated answers. That's part of the message I have to convey to attorneys when we talk to them is like, hey, this is cutting edge technology. You're going to get this 9 out of 10 times. And because you decided to sign up with us, right, from the beginning, we're going to give you favorable pricing going forward. But just know that this is the worst that the system's ever going to be, right? We're going to make this better going forward. So this is the play. We're continuing to drip improvements into the system step by step. We've only been at this for 45 days, and the system already is grading to be pretty good. We're a gap away from being legal accurate, like legal professional grade. And in these next 2 weeks, I think we're going to bridge that gap. And the goal is to get it done by the end of the year. So that's our entire update for the week. We've made a lot of progress. We've also been punched quite hard, knowing that what we thought was already ready for production wasn't. It's obvious that this is kind of what startups deal with. You think you got a solution, then you test it and you realize, I'm still short. But it's the beauty to the problem, right? Every morning we're whiteboarding stuff. In fact, I'm going to flip over here to the... Here is this morning's testing that we have to do by December 5th, right? So there's a lot that we got going on here. Right now we've implemented the quick query and we're testing it, and we're going to then push it to GitHub, get to production, and release the payment for the next milestone for our devs. So there's a lot going on here. I'm just going to freestyle this and bring it back into the computer so you can see the workstation. And there's a lot of work to do, but it's coming together, and our dev's doing a great job. And so, yeah, that's the update for December 5th. We'll catch you on the next one.